All right, this is the fourth attempt of me trying to record this video. I started the room and well, the last couple of attempts, it ended up just me doing the whole room and not having the audio working correctly. So I had audio issue. So I'm just gonna do it again. Instead of me trying to like do a voiceover, it's not gonna work as well as me doing it in real time doing a recording. So I prefer this method. But anyways, we are trying to basically solve this room, but we are trying to do this room simple CTF. It is not part of the any learning path on TryHackMe, but it is part of the TSM security Linux privilege escalation path, and it is pretty useful in terms of like doing basic enumeration and also using exploit DB database to like find the exploit and use the exploit to basically dump some sort of credential. That's basically it. It is pretty tricky in terms of getting the exploit to work. So I'm just gonna do this room and give you a little bit of a suggestion on what to do when you get into the exploit section. So here we are. We could start our nmap. You can see here I'm already done this room. So try to do it as quickly as possible. Nmap, we're gonna use tag T4 for the timing. T4 is probably one of the fastest scan we could do, faster scan we could do. Tag A for aggressive, tag VV for verbose to try to get all the information, tag P tag for all the port, tag ON to output a file. I'm just gonna output it to sim.ctf.nmap. Actually, before I do that, let me just cd to the room folder that I create. So I'm just gonna ls, everything is empty here. I just clear out the folder. So I'm just gonna do the nmap again. Let's see here and then paste the IP. And we see here there are port 21 and port 80, the first two things that it is picked up. So without even look into the information, we could try doing FTP on this. Again, I just want to save a little bit of time. So we're just gonna open up another tab on the terminal and try to FTP to the IP. And usually FTP allowed us to log in as anonymous. Sometimes it doesn't work on a harder room. It doesn't work. But like it's a good way to start off the FTP enumeration. Usually anonymous can be accessible. So let's try anonymous on this. I know it is accessible. So we are in without using any password. And I'm just gonna ls. It's gonna take a bit to scan to basically list all the directory available on this room. So give it a little bit. And the next port we want to look at is port 80. Port 80 is basically default to HTTP. So we could try to look at port 80, and once you paste the IP on the browser, we basically redirect to the Apache to Ubuntu default page, and that's all we get from here. So a couple of things we want to do if we got to this point, if we could try to directory busting this IP using program like GoBuster or FrogBuster. I prefer FrogBuster, and here I am. Already done the syntax for it. Let me just paste the new IP onto this and explain the syntax. Oh, okay, never mind. Let me there we go. So FrogBuster tag U for the URL. So we're basically gonna paste the HTTP ://10.10.165.196 tag W for the word list, and it is user share word list dirtbuster directory list 2.3 medium.txt, and we're gonna do a tag C. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So it's that is tag C is basically filter out code that we don't want to see, and the status code we want to filter out is the 400 code and 500 code. So 401, 42, 43, etc. and the 500, and then tag O to output a file. We're gonna output it to frog.txt, and we're gonna let it scan. It's gonna take a little bit to scan, and we're gonna go back to our FTP here and take a while for it to scan and its timeout and everything. But we see a pub directory here. We can cd to that. Cd to pub directory is successfully changed. We can ls and see for mitch.txt. So we could note that Mitch is probably one of the user or something like that. So we're gonna get for mitch.txt. Basically download the text file, and we navigate to our folder, and we see, damn it, man, you're the worst dev I've seen. You set the same password for system user, and the password is so weak I can crack it in seconds. Gosh, what a mess. So there's something we want to note here: system user, and the password is weak. Or so weak. So that's something we want to know. So while we're doing FrogBuster, you can see here the first thing that come up is the simple directory. So we could try to go to that, navigate to simple directory by typing /simple. It's gonna take a bit, and we are in. So it say here CMS made simple. You could scroll down and look at the version of the CMS, and it says CMS made simple version 2.2.8. We could basically select that and Google it and find the exploit.db, look into this exploit. So by this point, we could answer a couple of questions here. How many servers that are running under port 1000? There are 2 ports. Remember port 21 and 80. And what is running on the higher port 2222 is running, and it is SSH. What the CMS you're using, again, the application. Again, if you Google the version of the CMS, we find the first one on exploitdb, and it is CVE 2019-9053. That is the CMS. What kind of vulnerability is the application vulnerable to? And it is SQL injection or SQLI. That is our answer for the first couple of questions. So a couple things I want to recommend. If you want to use this original CVE from exploit database, you could download it basically and look at it like this. Or the other way we could do it is search up this CVE file, the CVE name, and look for the Python 3. So this one here, the second one on the Google result, if I search the CVE name, the CVE number, and the one we want to look at is the GitHub, and it say exploit Python 3, the same CVE number. So we could look into that. And the CVE for Python 3 version is made by Mohammed M. You download that. Reason why I want to use this one on right now is because Kali it is much easier to use this version of the exploit. So I'm just gonna move this. Let me make this smaller and move like this. So I'm just gonna move it to the folder without using the original CVE here. I'm just gonna leave it on download. Basically delete it. I don't need to use this. It's basically when the thing with the original CVE, you have to upgrade it using lib223 module on Python. But it just ended up not working correctly. Again, it is a little bit tricky to use this exploit. That's why I want to use the Python 3 version. So again, I'm just gonna ls and do a Python CMS make simple. As you can see here, I already type out the syntax since, again, I already done this room a couple of times with other recording attempts and it doesn't work. So I'm just gonna paste the IP here and explain this the syntax for this. The syntax is also explained on the GitHub page. So if you scroll down on the GitHub page, and it's basically tell you to use tag U for URL, tag W for the word list, and then tag C for crack the password. So what we want to type for the syntax is Python 3 CMS make simple injection.py, tag U for URL. So type out the URL 10.10.165.196 /simple, tag crack, tag W for the word list, and we want to use the user share word list, sec list, password, common credential, and the best 110.text. The reason why I want to use this 110.text is because the hint here, it say the password is weak, so we don't need to use anything big for the word list. Just use this one, and it's kind of probably gonna work. And press enter, and it's gonna try to basically brute force the attacks through the SQL injection. And I'm just gonna speed up the video from here and see it doing the attack real time. Okay, it seems like it's successfully cracked the password and find the credential you need to use. And the password is basically secret. That's basically it. And we could try to basically log into the CMS. We could log in through here too if you want, but it's not going to be any use, just the quick info here. So we could log into Mitch and secret as the password, but it's not going to be much. We could try to get a reverse shell from here, but I prefer SSH. And the reason why I said I prefer SSH is if you read the for Mitch.txt again, you set the same pass for the system user. So a little bit of guessing here. We could guess that the developer, Mitch, set the SSH password and probably to secret. So you see me typing the syntax in the past before, and we're gonna log into the SSH again. And just to keep in mind that the port for SSH is 2222. So let's log in. I'm gonna type yes to the fingerprint and so on, so not. You want to continue to connect. The password is secret. Let's try here, and that's it. We're logged in. So who am I? Mitch. ID, UID 1001 for Mitch. So Mitch doesn't really have much permission here. Let me just clear the terminal real quick so everything is set up and basically you could see better. And a couple enumeration we want to do. There are, well, I already did who am I. We could cd to home for now and ls. So just to answer a couple of questions, what is the password? It is secret. Where can you log in using the detail obtained? SSH and the user flag. I'm just gonna cat the user flag later. The reason why I want to cd to home is to look at the name of the other directory here. It's called Sunbath, and that's all the enumeration. One more thing we could do is tag sudo l, and what basically sudo l does is to look at the sudo permission we have for Mitch, and Mitch basically have the permission to use Vim without using any password, to basically run Vim as a root or a super user without any password. So oh, I messed up a little bit here. So hold on, let's see if this is configured correctly. Okay, look good now. All right, so if I cd to vim user bin, not vim, cd to user bin, and basically do an lslah or lsla, whatever you prefer. I prefer lslah to a human readable, and look at the permission here. And again, vim is run and created by root. Root is the owner, and it has read write execute for the user, group, and then everyone else. So everyone else can run read write execute vim, and we also have the no password permission when we sudo too. So it is that simple. And the way we want to escalate privilege with vim is basically go to CTF bin and search for vim. Type it wrong, vim with the v, and we want to scroll down to sudo. Let's see. Oh, zoom in. I want to zoom in. Sudo. There it is. So if you read it here, if binary is allowed to run as superuser by sudo, it does not drop the elevated privilege and may be used to access the file system and escalate and maintain privilege access. And the thing we want to use is basically the first one, option A, sudo vim tag c bin shell. And again, tag c is probably the command. So it's basically run a command, shebang bin shell, and basically give us the root access. Let's try it here, and boom, root access. And if you type who am I, we are root. That is that simple. So I mean, by now I'm just gonna clear the terminal again and type the ID. Again, we are root. The UID is 0 and GID is 0, group is 0. So we are root. So the way we want to cat the flag, you could either cd each line, like one line at a time. I just want to do the one-liner so it's much quicker. So the way I do this one-liner is basically cd to home Mitch, since the flag is in Mitch, and then do an nn cat user.txt, and then cd to root, or root like this, and then do another nn cat root.txt, and I want to use another nn again to do a ifconfig, and another nn to do a date. So everything is in one line, and basically cat both the user flag and the root flags and the ifconfig, so basically the IP of the room and the date. So this is kind of like the OSCP style. Oh, root.txt. Oh man, I mess up. No. So I didn't type root correctly. Root.txt, and then I messed up. Okay, so let's do it again, and then date, and there it is. The user flag, it is good job, keep up. And then the spawn, the privileged shell, it is vim. We want to use vim. And then the root flag is well done, you made it. And that is the date. Look like it's in Spanish or something. I don't know, Mercury. But anyways, We did it. It is that simple. It is simple. CTF made it simple. And that's it for this video. Finally, probably I successfully record this video under 30 minutes. So that's good. All right. See ya.